I felt like the easiest thing to do was for me to just be quiet and just try to get him out of my car as soon as possible.
Now that police say they have a dangerous predator behind bars, some of his alleged victims are feeling safe enough to talk about their terrifying experiences. Good evening, everybody. We first told you about the arrest of John Magevney yesterday in an exclusive story.
Yeah, he is currently behind bars in the Clermont County Jail. He's charged with kidnapping and abduction after allegedly forcing a 17-year-old Kroger employee to take him on a terrifying ride as the boy left work on Sunday night. With Magevney in jail, other victims are now coming forward. And Local 12's Rich Jaffe has the story you'll see only on Local 12. Rich?
Cammie, since our story yesterday, my Facebook page has been smoking with comments from people who know John Magevney. Victoria says, prosecute, prosecute, prosecute. Keep him locked up for many years to come. Mike said he was begging for money off Elick at the BP with a female the other day. Have had numerous run-ins at Home Depot, and he gets aggravated if you don't give him money. Sarah told me, he tried to get me a few nights before this happened. I wouldn't open my door and I grabbed my phone. It was in the Kroger parking lot in Amelia. Now, John Magevney is accused of terrorizing mostly female drivers up and down Beechmont Avenue for nearly a year. With his arrest, a lot of people in our community are clearly relieved, but a lot are still scared. On Tuesday, 25-year-old John Magevney was arrested and charged with kidnapping a 17-year-old Amelia boy and allegedly forcing him to drive to half a dozen ATMs, all the while demanding money. Magevney was frequently seen panhandling with a woman and a child at the 275 ramp to Beechmont Avenue. But he was also known for demanding money and forcing his way into cars frequently driven by young women. Last September, 19-year-old Erica Stutz was headed home from work at 9 o'clock in the evening when she stopped for a light at Glen Estee, Withamsville, and 125.
He opens my passenger side door and starts begging and begging for me to give him help, to give him a ride, to help his son and the woman that was with him.
With traffic backing up, Magevney kept pushing.
I'm trying to say no. I'm trying to just get him away from me, but I was scared out of my mind. And I'm scared right now, even like recalling it. So he gets into my car. At that point, the little boy and woman were already at my car, and he tells them to get into my car, so they get into my back seat.
Stutz says with the trio now in her car, Magevney demanded money and told her to drive to a nearby speedway, where she watched him steal numerous items, then get back into her car. After various other stops, the terrified young woman was finally told to drop the three people off deep in the Piccadilly Apartments, a known drug hole. 2 days later,
he came into my work, and I immediately knew who he was before he even walked through the door. And he walked in and looked at me and then looked straight at the floor and walked up to our bar area. And I didn't watch him, but he stood at the bar for maybe 30 seconds, then walked out and left.
When Erica heard Magevney had been arrested,
I was almost in tears because although it's been since September, it's been months since I've seen this man, it's always in the back of my mind.
Erica tells me that when she dropped Magevney and the woman and little boy off in Piccadilly, before he got out of the car, Magevney told her, "By the way, I didn't force you to do anything. You did all this voluntarily." And clearly he was trying in some twisted way to set up some kind of what he thought was a defense in the event that Erica would ever be talking to police. She has done that, and in fact Union Township Police are working on that case even as we speak.
Good for her for being brave enough to come forward.
Absolutely.
I mean, she had to be terrified, and I've got to think there are even more victims out there.
There are a lot more victims out there, and certainly as this unfolds, there's a good chance that as they come forward, so will the cases against him.
Oh, thank goodness he's been caught. Rich, thank you. And by the way, the Amelia kidnapping case against John Magevney is expected to go to a Clermont County grand jury next week. And in a really bizarre twist, Erica told us that after her frightening ordeal with John Magevney, she discovered that just a couple of weeks before, her sister had a similar run-in with him.